time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going now.
Welcome back to PowersPowWow, the music show. Peace, love, and rock and roll. Today I'll be speaking with Mark Harrington and Melissa Wixon, awesome musicians.
Thank you.
Glad you come out.
Thanks for having us.
Melissa, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I can tell you a little. There's not much to know. I've been singing since I was a little girl. Grew up singing in church with my parents and my brothers and our entire family, really. And then I moved up north, up into Gaylord, Michigan, and I lived there for a very long time. And I sang in a band up north called Yankee Station for about 20 years. And then moved back down here to bring my children to a private school down here, and met this fellow and started singing with him in the Magic Bus.
Oh, excellent. Mark?
That was a quick story.
That's
I don't
not
know
much
if-
to know.
I can't condense mine like that. I hope you got some time.
Yeah.
I actually was, I was born here in Watford, grew up here. Same thing, started very early. My parents were all musicians, not in church, but they could play piano. And my grandmother was a ragtime piano player back in saloons in the 20s. And so about 5, 6 years old, she was teaching me how to play ragtime on the piano. So that's where I kind of got my start, slowly integrated into other instruments and stuff. And then by the time I was 13, I was playing shows with my my older brothers who had just come from a group right around the Motown era. They were playing with a group called Soul Searchers. And that had broken up, and my brother, obviously, for whatever reason, decided that I was good enough to play with him.
Were you 13?
I was 13.
13.
13, and so I started doing shows as a drummer. I was playing drums then. And just never quit. I did a million projects since then, but it's been my full-time occupation for the last 20 years.
Careful.
20 years.
Age is showing.
For a long time.
Yeah.
I was going to say a long time. So, same
Moses
thing.
was in that band,
I think
wasn't he?
so, yeah. We played together. And then ended up in California in the 70s for a while doing some different projects. Slowly migrated back here, made it back here, and then for the rest of the time I've been pretty much stationed here in Michigan, just doing thing. Met Melissa down in Detroit at a job where we were both hired on in a bigger band, as hired on, and that's where we met. And
And he was the drummer in that
I was
band.
the drummer, playing drums
ironically.
then for that show in particular. I'm kind of a utility guy.
Yeah.
Was still doing the bus. The bus had started. I formed that. That was 8 years ago. And
9, I think.
9.
Are we
going on
pushing on 9 now?
Yeah, 9 years now. So the bus was already moving along, but we had been through a few transitions, and it was funny how everything just kind of falls in place. But when I met her, I'm like, that's the one. That's what I've been waiting for. I told the guys forever. We, especially for what we do, obviously that late '60s era has some very profound female artists that define it in a lot of ways. That was the one thing that the bus I felt was missing, was that. And lo and behold, there she was.
Like Grace Slick and Janice, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. And then we started working together before the bus. Actually, we started working together just as a duo, and it was just a match made in heaven.
I
guys-
think so.
You guys play at Overtime together.
We do every Thursday night.
WixieHarrington.
Yeah. During the summer months, we're on the road so much with the bus, so we take a little bit of break, but we pretty much from November through spring.
Even
May, June.
October.
Yeah.
I would say
And
October.
most of the time through the winter months and up until June, we're there every Thursday night from like 6 to 9. But there are times when we're gone because of that. But that's a really great place to be.
Yeah.
And we
The
play at
people
the
are really
River
nice.
Rock up in Holly
Oh,
on
yeah.
Fridays and some Saturdays. We do a lot of private parties. You play at the Comeback Inn on Tuesday nights.
And then we do Baker's
Car Cruise on Sundays from first Sunday in May through October?
till the beginning of October. And we do the sip and sail cruises on
Up
Mackinac
on
Island.
Mackinac Island.
So we drive a lot.
Yeah, so you guys are real busy with all that. So you,
Yeah.
I heard that you homeschool.
I do. Well, it's technically virtual school, but so I say they're schooled from home instead of homeschooled. But it's probably most people have heard of it. It's called K-12, and I have 3 children. My youngest is in 4th grade. Then I have a 5th grader and a 6th grader, and they're super sharp kids. And most things are done on computers anymore, anyway. So the teachers are great, really interactive. And, they get to be home and safe. And
It works really good, too, for what we do.
we
our
work at night.
profession.
I would rather not send them away all day to school
right.
and then be gone at night to work, So.
And they can school wherever we are.
So you can do it in
If we're
the
on
car.
the
while
road,
you're-
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
basically, some of it they are doing when we're literally on the road.
So it keep your mind going too then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's good stuff then, yeah.
Yeah, it's really neat.
So I had to ask about, there's something about American Funniest Videos that you,
Yeah, years ago, my other partner and one of my closest friends, Terry Stevenson, I'm sure you know Terry, you may even know
Yes.
Terry, local entertainer too, great musician, singer. He and I have been best friends since we were kids. And it was years ago, but we did a thing for Waterford Cable. And at the time, another friend of his was running this show, that kind of like this, except way crazier. This guy was nutty anyways. And it was a very kind of ad-lib program where, just you would come up with the ideas and whatever comedic things and just do them off the cuff. And we decided to do this thing where we dressed up like we were these 2 Mexican entertainers that had just gotten to America and were completely naive. And Terry dressed up actually as a woman. So he was my wife.
awesome.
And I huge eyebrows and this big mustache and this white shirt and I had an acoustic guitar. And we did this thing where we were like Yarbo and Gale Utanda. We just made up a name.
Nice.
And we were on tour. And we started playing Mexican music. And we, of course, neither one of us knows Spanish at all. So we're just making random, ridiculous words that sound like they might be some kind of language. And it was just ridiculous, but it was really funny. We thought it was funny. So one day, I get all these papers in the mail from America's Funniest Videos, all these,
Forms?
whatever they call those things, sign-off forms, and
yeah.
giving them the rights to use this video. And I'm like, what in the world is this? And it turned out that they had sent that video, somehow got sent to Oakland University, to their creative arts department, and then somebody from there forwarded it to America's Funniest Videos. We had no idea. And all of a sudden we get these forms, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Send them all back in, and then later, I don't know how long, it's kind of fell out of my head at that point. And about 6 months later, I get a call from my daughter. Dad, I just saw you on TV. I'm like, what? You were just on America's Funniest Videos. I'm just laughing. I'm like, okay. I never saw it. I never actually saw the program.
I didn't know that story. That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I never even saw it, but a lot of other people did.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure I wanted anybody to see it. But it was whatever, It's entertainment.
Yeah. So your son's
Yeah.
doing some great things over in.
Yeah, he is. He's in Los
West
Angeles.
Coast?
And he actually went to Los Angeles. He's been out there for 10 years now. He was went out as a skateboarder, pro skateboarder. And kind of exhausted his state. That's a very young sport.
Right.
And he's 28 now. So once he started he's always had the musical ability within him. But after his skateboarding career, which was, for a few years, he started really pursuing his music again. And has had, substantial success on his 4th album. And
Isn't he recording in
John
Fogerty's?
Fogerty's house. He just mastered his last album at John Fogerty's
Wow.
house.
That's
John's
pretty cool,
yeah,
isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's really cool.
I can't say that.
His son, John's son, Tyler Fogerty, which who produces a lot of John's stuff, and one of his main engineers is friends with Graham and just loves his material. And they were talking one day, and Graham, today everybody records everything with digitally, computers and Pro Tools and even the big studios. And but he wanted to master it, his newest album, through the old analog gear to get. It's a very warm sound, And John's got 2 or 3 studios in his home and in the Hollywood Hills. So they were like, "Yeah, come and stay at the house and master your album here, man. We've got all the gear." And so he did. He went, and, and since then, he and Tyler and those guys. And his guitar player's dad is the bass player for the Animals.
Oh.
So
yeah.
they're all kind of connected, somehow. So he's doing good.
That's excellent.
Yeah, he's doing great.
So we're going to have to talk about Magic Bus. They're pretty famous around here. You guys sell out all the time.
Yeah, we've been fortunate. It's funny, you start a project, you never know where it's going to go. It's funny, I heard stories that when Paul McCartney, after the Beatles broke up, they were driving around in vans, showing up at universities, and a guy would go in and say, "Hey, I got Paul McCartney out in the van, he wants to do you want to do a show at at colleges and stuff." And that's the way Wing started. So it just shows you, no matter who you are, you start a new project, you got to start all over again.
Yeah.
So, but we've been fortunate. People, I've always been fascinated with the era. That particular era, I think, is very profound musically and in every other direction, socially, politically, whatever. It was just such a profound time, that 67 to 69.
Yeah.
Summer of Love to Woodstock, and I've loved the music. So, 9 years ago, I had the idea. I thought, musicians always get together. We should do this, or we should get together and, why don't we put a band together? Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. But you never do it. And one day I just woke up and thought, and I just started making phone calls. "Hey, what do you think about this?" "Yeah, I'm in." Called Dave Milkey, my longtime friend. "What do you think, Dave?" "Oh, yeah, that sounds great. Let's do it." Called Steve Carey, who's our drummer. And we had been in groups in the past together. And these are all guys that I knew were, kind of retired, would probably have enough free time to do a project like this. And they were all like, nobody hesitated at all. The original group, they were like, "Yeah, we're in, let's do it." So we started getting together at Steve's house, just set up in the living room. The original arrangement was myself, Dave Milkey, Terry Stevenson, and Steve Carey, the 4 of us. That was the original beginning of the whole thing.
Of the bus?
Of the bus. And we started rehearsing, and it was still kind of, it was such an embryonic stage that we really didn't know. We didn't have all the details yet. I kind of had a concept of what I wanted to do, but I didn't really know. And it just kind of sort of evolved on its own, for me, it's long hair, but in the beginning, it was wigs, because everybody had short hair. All the guys had short hair.
Well, they were respectable back then.
Yeah, we were respectable. We had sold out to the man, Jim. We sold out to the man.
You sold out.
But we started rehearsing, and we started getting a repertoire together, and then it was time for pictures. And so we went out on, I don't remember, some all dirt road, and we wanted to get kind of a Woodstocky kind of shot. And so we took a bunch of pictures, had a photographer, and got it on the road, and just, we had the clothes and stuff, we're doing all these pictures and stuff. Got them all developed, and I'm looking through these pictures, and I'm like, something's not right. There's just, something's not right with these pictures, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And then one morning I woke up and I thought, it's the hair. Nobody's hair is long. It doesn't look right, So that day I stopped at the beauty supply place and bought a wig and before rehearsal, and walked in rehearsal with my hair like super long down here. And these guys are all like, "What the heck?" I'm like, "This is what's missing, guys," And so little ideas like that would just come along to me as we went. And then medleys and, song choices, would come, and it just kind of became its own entity, the bus. And then
the followers
started responding.
I was gonna say I think, no offense to the musicianship of the Magic Bus, because that obviously is great, but the crowd
Yes.
is really what makes the bus so
Absolutely.
fun. You know, I mean, it's the people that come out, wear their tie-dye or wear their flowers. And it's so fun. What makes it more fun for us, I think, on stage, I mean, I don't know what it was like before I was there, so.
No, you're a babe. You weren't.
I wasn't there. But being on stage and looking out at this ocean of tie-dye and flowers, it's like, it's just so much fun, and everybody's so happy, and that music represents happy, you know, and peace and love, and you get that vibe in the crowd, and that, I think that's what makes the show.
I agree. Yeah, it's very positive, and the more you do it, people just they've become drawn to it, and so many of our following are people that were there, and it's almost like an awakening for them again.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Wow, I forgot about all this," or "I forgot I could feel this way." You know.
Could you play some cool songs? You don't play the regular. It's excellent.
Yeah, I mean, you know, every song, we try to come up with songs as we start thinking through the repertoire of songs that will really connect with people. You know, there's a lot of great tribute groups out there. Doors tribute bands and Stones. Of course, the Stones or the Beatles, you're going to know every song anyways. But there's a lot of tribute shows where you'll know the deep tracks, or I mean, you'll know the main tracks and you can sing along, but then there'll be all these deep tracks, and you know, and so I really wanted to target songs that everybody would know every word to. You know, I mean, they can sing every word to every song, and great songs that really defined, in my mind, that era. You know, I mean, really project every part of it, the musical part, and it's not hard to find because people were writing for different reasons back then. You know, a lot of it was the voice. It really was the soundtrack of a generation. So, you know, we try to target songs that people will really remember, and for whatever reason, and they're just great. It's just great, positive music, you know.
Well, now we're going to have you play a few songs for us.
Okay.
Super fun.
Thank you very much. Peace out.
All right, this is Simon and Garfunkel's The Boxer. I'm just a poor boy, my story's held unknown. I have squandered my resistance for a pocket full of mumbles, such are promises. All lies and jest, still a man hears what he wants to hear, disregards the rest. La, 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 la. When I left my home, my family was no more than a boy in the company of strangers, in the quiet of a railway station, running scared. Laying low, singing out the boarding waters, where the ragged people go, looking for the places only they would know. La la la, la 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 la. I seen only living wages. I go looking for a job, I get no offers. Just to come home from the halls on 2nd Avenue. I do declare there was a time when I was so lonesome, I took some comfort there. La 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 la. La la la, la 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 la. As I'm laying out my winter clothes, wishing I was home, going home. Where the New York City winters high and bleeding me. Leading me, going home.
in the clearance stands the boxer, the fighter by his trade, and he carries the reminder of every glove they laid him down or cut until he cried out in his anger and his shame, I am leaving, but the fighter still remains. La 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 la. La 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 la
All right, here's Janis Joplin. Well, it's not Janis Joplin, it's us doing Janis Joplin. But Bobby McGee.
Busted flat in Baton Rouge, waiting for a train. I was feeling near as faded as my jeans. Well, Bobby thumbed the diesel down just before it rained. Rode us all the way to New Orleans. Well, I pulled my hump out of my dirty red bandana. Was playing soft while Bobby sang the blues. Windshield wipers slapping time. I was holding Bobby's hand in mine, and we sang every song that driver knew. And freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose. Oh, nothing, honey, if it ain't free. Yeah. Feeling good on one's easy, Lord, when it sang the blues. And it feeling good was good enough for me. Good enough for me and my Bobby McGee. From the Kentucky coal mines to the California sun, well, Bobby shared the secrets of my soul. Through all kinds of weather, through everything we done, said Bobby, baby, help me from the goal. And one day happiness and lean his Lord, I let him slip away. He's looking for that home, and I hope he finds it. But I trade all of my tomorrow, so one single yesterday, to be holding Bobby's body next to mine. And freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose. Well, nothing. It's all that Bobby left me. And I'm feeling good on one's easy, Lord, when he sang the blues. And the feeling good was good enough for me. Oh, well, good enough for me and my Bobby McGee. La da da, la da da da, la da 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 da, la 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 la, Bobby McGee. La da da, la da da da, la da da da, la da da, la da da da, Bobby McGee. La da da dum, la da la 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 la, la da la 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 la, Lena Bobby, Lona Bobby McGee. Said I'm alone and lonely now. Lord, I'm alone and lonely and lonely and lonely now. Lena Bobby.
crowd goes crazy.
Yeah.
This is Grace Slick, Jefferson Airplane,
Airplane.
Somebody to Love.
When the truth is found to realize and all the joy you guys, don't you
Want somebody to love,
don't you
need somebody to love,
don't you
want somebody to love.
you better find somebody to love. When a garden flower, baby, are dead, and your mind is so full of red. Don't you
Want somebody to love,
don't you
need somebody to love,
Wouldn't you
love somebody to love.
You better find somebody to love. Your eyes, I see your eyes, they look like trees. And in your head, baby, I'm afraid you don't know where it is. Don't you
Want somebody to love,
don't you
need somebody to love,
Wouldn't you
love somebody to love.
You better find somebody to love. Tears are running down and down your dress, and your friends they treat you like a guest. Don't you
Want somebody to love,
don't you
need somebody to love,
wouldn't you
love somebody to love.
You better find somebody to love. Better find somebody to love. Find somebody to love. Find somebody to love. Find somebody to love.
It's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going on. Paranoia strikes deep into your life. It will creep.